that. That's great. That tells about what kind of great show we've got. Hello again, everybody. Lance Russell and Dave Brown, and we're live along ringside with a lot of other folks, and we're ready to go with an outstanding championship wrestling program.
Boy,
David.
I tell you, the main event, wait till we get to that here in just a moment. But first, the opening match of the day. Boy, a big team coming in here, and Kurt Von Hess and King Kong Bundy, both of them on one side of the ring in tag team action. A little bit later on, we will be looking at the Dutchman, Dutch Mantell, will be in here in a single match. But listen to the expiration of time match. Couple of upset teams. These are teams that have major upsets on championship wrestling. We'll be looking at the Nightmares with Jimmy Hart, their manager, on one side of the ring. And on the other, it'll be Mark Batten and Johnny Will Hoyt, the new generation. Should be a terrific expiration of time main event coming up today.
Yowza! We're going to be taking a look at two new faces also, in the fact that Kurt Von Hess, the first time that he's been on championship wrestling out of Munich, Germany. Boy, what a pair. You said it, with King Kong Bundy. They'll be in here in that opening match. And Mark Regan we have not had here before.
Right, he will be here today.
And we will be looking and seeing Mark Regan for the first time. We've got action, plenty of it, more too. We'll be back in just a moment.
About ready to go here.
Oh, yeah, I guess we're back and ready. I don't know whether we are or not. We're going to have a big tag match coming up here. And, Hook, Jimmy, what are you bringing in today?
A new member of the first family of professional wrestling, baby. Kurt Von Hess, the German national heavyweight champion, along with King Kong Bundy. I'm rebuilding the family, baby. It's going to be the biggest and greatest organization in the world today, baby. Kurt Von Hess.
And I'll bet he really fits into the family in beautiful shape. Yeah, Kurt Von Hess. You don't have to tell us too much about him. While we've never had him on championship wrestling, his reputation precedes him in no uncertain terms. Dave, let's have the official introduction.
This is going to be a one-fall, 15-minute time limit match. Introducing at a total weight of 475 pounds from Louisville, Kentucky, Randy Johnson, and from Memphis, Tennessee, Jim Jamieson. Going against him at a total of 695 pounds from Munich, Germany, Kurt Von Hess. And from Atlantic City, New Jersey, King Kong Bundy. Jimmy Hart in their corner, one fall, 15-minute time limit match. And the referee's Jerry Calhoun.
Okay, we're ready for it. Bell time, and off and running is Kurt Von Hess, right on Jim Jamieson.
Kurt Von Hess, the German national champion, Jimmy Hart says, and he sits down on Jim Jamieson. Von Hess planting the foot in the back as Jamieson trying to get back to his feet or to the corner. He's on his feet, but runs into the upper arm. Kurt Von Hess from across the ring drops down with the upper arm, makes the tag, and here is the very large King Kong Bundy.
Fantastic day. Look at him, Kurt Von Hess, baby, Germany.
Well, we have watched him for a minute or so here, and King Kong Bundy doing some damage now to Jim Jamieson. Jamieson thrown over to the corner. This is Randy Johnson in. Johnson wrestles out of Louisville, Kentucky. Flipped across the ring by King Kong Bundy. Jim Jamieson, meanwhile, over on the right of the screen, struggling back up into the corner as King Kong Bundy hammers Randy Johnson back down to the mat. Minute and a half gone in this match. Bundy himself weighing in at about 460, 465 pounds. He calls for a knee in the corner. Kurt Von Hess responds. Von Hess, our first look at him on championship wrestling. Jimmy Hart has brought him in from Munich, Germany, and he's in there right now against Randy Johnson. Oh, he puts on a neck breaker. If he goes for the cover, he should have him, but he's not. He backs into the corner, drops down. Now he covers. 1, 2. He picked him up. Got the count of one. Just before the 2 count fell, Von Hess picked Randy Johnson up. Rather than go for the 3 count, Bundy coming back in. Johnson off the ropes. Point of the elbow by Von Hess, and look out. Bundy splashes.
Atomic bomb, baby. Look at him. There he is. Woo!
2 minutes, 41 seconds the time. It's King Kong Bundy and Kurt Von Hess with a win. Jimmy Hart is thrilled as he jumps in the ring. Watch, take a look at it. Boy, it's not a pretty thing to watch as they wrap this one up with Randy Johnson being fired into the ropes. There's that point of the elbow that he caught him with right in the throat. Bundy and Von Hess both using the ropes, but then Bundy is the one that drops the atomic bomb, as Jimmy Hart says. The count of 3 falls, and King Kong Bundy and Kurt Von Hess have the victory.
Boy, you know, I have often thought, looking at Bundy in there and Von Hess being somewhat lighter, but not a whole lot better, but I have thought to myself in there, what would that be like laying, and I don't want to find out, laying down, and here's this guy coming 460 coming down to splash on you. Ooh! We're going to take time out and be back. We got plenty of action to go, and we'll be at it in a moment. And oh, the fabulous one, well, when you say that, you say, well, it could be 2 or 3 people. No, it can't be but one person. Jackie Fargo was in town, and Jack was involved in a scrape, which is nothing new, but it's interesting to hear some comments Jackie had to make about it. Let's take a listen to it.
You know, it's always a pleasure to come to Memphis, Tennessee, one of my favorite wrestling towns in the whole world, because the fans are just behind you and pull for you and give you that get up and go, and you get out there and you just wrestle way beyond your comprehension of what you can do. But they give you, the fans down there charm you like that, and it's great to come to that town. And I enjoyed coming down and seeing my friends and fans again. But I got to thinking now, I've been there and there twice, and I wrestled that Ricky Rude and that Bundy. Then last week we wrestled Bundy and that little Rudy boy, Ricky Rudy. He's a little sissy, I guess. He couldn't make it. He's hurt, bless his heart. Then Hart brings some other punk out there to wrestle. We just went on and beat their brains out. Now this week, me and Steve Kern's going to wrestle Bundy and some other guy you're bringing in, Hart. Von Hess or whatever his name is. Well, that's fine. You bring whoever you want to. Let me tell you something, Hart. I looked at them film. Every time I've been down there for the last 2 weeks, you've kicked and stomped and bit and smacked me and hit me with that cane till I'm sick and tired of it, pal. And if you get him away this Monday night, and I'm sure you will, I'm going to make you look like a pogo stick. I'm going to stick that stick where the sun don't shine, Pally. Now, you stay out of my way, Hart. I'm sick and tired of you, you little stinking punk, you. Do you understand me? Sick and tired of you.
Woo! All right, baby. A pogo stick.
A pogo stick?
Let me tell you something, Fargo. You wear pink because you look good in pink. Where were you, Russell? What are you doing back there picking your nose or something? Get up and do an interview, man. Let me tell you something, Fargo. I am not a wimp. Okay, let me tell you something, Fargo. You can wear your pink clothes out there, baby. You can come in with your bleached blonde hair. But I'm going to be all over that ring, pal. I'm going to be in and out of that ring, and I'm going to give you a tonsillectomy with my cane, baby. This is Kurt Von Hess. I have people, too. I have friends, too, that I can bring in. He jumps on the phone and wants to call one of his big pals to come in to help him. Well, baby, look who we got. Bundy and Kurt Von Hess, right, Bundy?
That's right, but let me tell you something, Jackie Fargo. Yak, yak, yak. It's easy to sit there in your nice, comfortable living room and talk about what you're going to do to King Kong Bundy. Well, last week you came in there with trash cans. You came in there with boards. Steve Kern had a chain, and Bundy's still here, and I'm still unmarked, and I'm still unbeaten, and it's going to stay the same. Only this time, pretty boy, you talk about Rick Rude being a sissy. You don't see no blonde hair on Rick Rude's head. You're the sissy, Fargo, and this time it's you or that other sissy Kern that's going to go down to a 5 count. Yeah!
Kurt Von Hess.
Fargo is always, he says, I never heard of Kurt Von Hess. Take a close look, Fargo. Turn your TV on and take a close look at me. I've wrestled in Europe, good European strong background. Whatever Jimmy called me, he said, we have a little chore for you, Kurt. Not a chores like you. You'll remember my name, because my mark, I always make sure my mark is made, will be on you, Fargo.
Well, as usual, all the talking's done out here. All the action takes place in a ring.
You just make sure you're there, Fargo. I promise you this, baby. It's going to be a night you'll never forget, buddy.
I'll be there. Fargo will be there, and so will Kern, Jimmy. Don't worry about that. Right now, let's go to Dave. David?
We have a special presentation coming up here. More championship wrestling coming up a little bit later, including our first look at Mark Regan and what should be a tremendous tag team expiration of time main event a little bit later. But we have a presentation coming up for the Tag Team of the Year. This is made by Wrestling Fans International. Now, the voting is done in the spring, and then the presentation is made at the annual convention. And Wrestling Fans International are holding their annual convention this week. And they have the trophies for Tag Team of the Year that they are going to be presenting. Unusual situation this year in that the team that was voted Tag Team of the Year when the voting was cast in the spring are no longer together. But here's Lance with Wrestling Fans International.
Fine, David. Thank you. I want to introduce to all the wrestling fans on Championship Wrestling out there a couple of representatives from that organization. Head of the organization now is Pete Letterberg. Pete, delighted to have you here.
It's just a pleasure to be here in Memphis, Lance.
And Howard Baum. Howard, both of you are from Florida. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. We're from Miami.
All
Big
right.
wrestling fans all
You
our
get
lives.
back down there, you give Gordon Soley my best,
Exactly
too, will you?
right.
Okay. You guys are participating in the presentation. We really appreciate you doing it right here. Tag Team of the Year. Tommy Rich, Eddie Gilbert. The fact that they are not currently wrestling together as a tag team has nothing to do with the award and our appreciation of you doing it here, Pete.
Well, of course, you know, Lance, the voting goes on for the whole year, and this encompasses 1984, and they were quite a good team for the whole year up till now.
No question about that.
It's just unfortunate they're not teaming right now, but what can you do? They are the Tag Team of the Year.
Okay, we want to get Eddie and Tommy out here for the presentation of it, and we also want to say that we hope maybe during the year we're going to be able to disseminate a little more information on your organization and all, so more people will have a chance to participate in it.
That would really be great.
Eddie Gilbert. Okay, we congratulate you. It, of course, is rather an unusual situation, and I don't have to go into that. But there is your trophy as one half of the Tag Team of the Year.
Well, Lance, thank you very much. I'd like to thank the WFIA, thank all the people for giving this to me. It's unfortunate, though, that it looks like you'll probably have to take Tommy's to him because maybe you people out here don't realize it, but Tommy is our international heavyweight champion now. He doesn't come to television anymore to do interviews or wrestle here. He goes all over the world now. Memphis doesn't really mean that much to him anymore. He don't show up here. He's such a big shot now and a big man on the totem pole. And but you know, he's the one that turned his back on me. He's the one that turned his back on these people. And if it's still up to me, there'd be a Rich and Gilbert team. But no, he's really a big shot. But today he couldn't be here because of one reason, because he's still probably running from me from the last time we met, because he's such a chicken and such a coward, brother. That's all that's wrong with him. So I'd like to thank everybody for my. That's the only thing.
Tommy. Tommy. There's a place for that, and it's in the ring. It's not here. Sorry, Pete and Howard, and we thank you for coming here. We're going to take time out, and we're going to be back in just a moment. Eddie, you need to get that bleeding stopped. We've got another segment coming up here right now.
Lance, just give me a chance, please. You know, I feel like a fool. I feel like, please, I feel like that maybe I have done something terrible. And I've done something wrong. And maybe Tommy was right when he said that I feel like I've let everybody down, Tommy, you, these people, all the little kids that ever looked up to Eddie Gilbert, and I've turned their back on them. I was jealous. I was envious because you're the champion. You had the title matches. And Lance, if there's any way to get Tommy out of here, because, and I don't know, I know you could have something to do with this. Let me say this to you. Maybe you can tell Eddie Marlin from now on, there won't be any more matches scheduled between Tommy Rich and myself, because he can win them on forfeit. I will not show up. I'll not wrestle him anymore, because if Tommy's watching these people, this represents that the people of this country and the WFA voted us Tag Team of the Year. And Tommy, you're just like a brother to me. And it's taken a long time for me to come around to my senses, but I've been a little crazy and I haven't been right. But now I realize it because you beat my brains out here in front of these people and everybody watching. And I've been wrong, Lance. Well, I've been wrong, and I can admit it. I'll admit it to everybody here and to you.
Takes a bigger man to do that, and I don't know whether Tommy has any desire to come out here.
If there's any way at all of this promotion, if they can get Tommy out, because I've been wrong. I've acted stupid. I've come out here. I've said things I shouldn't have, and I've just kind of been in my own world here lately, and I'm sorry. I apologize. And if we can get Tommy on here, I'd like to just tell him this face to face.
Eddie, you need to get that bleeding stopped there, man.
Tommy, please.
It's
Please.
an unfortunate situation, but I appreciate you being man enough to stand up here on television and say it.
You're right. You were right about everything. I haven't been the man that I said I was. You're a better man. You're twice the man I am. You're a former world champion and international champion. And all I'm saying, let's forget it. These trophies mean more to me, and these people mean more to me. And you, as a tag team partner, mean more to me. And let's get back together, and let's be the team we were, and let's have that friendship back that we were. Please. Please.
I know it's difficult,
I'm sorry. I was wrong.
You'll be there. In other words, anytime I need you from now on, Eddie Gilbert's going to be there, is what you tell him.
Yes, I'm telling you. Please. Just please accept my apology. I'm doing this in front of everybody so everybody will know that I'm not ashamed of admitting I was wrong. And I was wrong.
I'm delighted. We'll keep the trophies over here for you. Okay. I don't believe it. Well, we got Eddie Gilbert busting Tommy Rich open, and all that stuff he was talking about was just hogwash, trying to catch Tommy unaware. Eddie! Let's get this guy out. Boy, you deserve anything you get from now on. I'll guarantee you that. Why don't you just get out of here? Hey, yeah. Watch him. And I'll tell you, we don't care if you never come back in here.
so you won't be able to wrestle.
Yeah, well, just get out of here. There's nothing smart about that or anything else. Lousy, low thing to do in there. You can help Tommy back. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay, Tommy got waylaid, and they're helping him back to the dressing room now. All right, where are we? Yeah, well, I'd rather, okay, thank you for helping out with Tommy. When we have incidents, a lot of times, I wish that always that we would be able to show them back, and they weren't happening right then. A particular incident happened with Rick Rude that many of you who were here watching on television all saw it. Some of you did not, and it was one of those circumstances that Dave and I, that's why we say, you never know what in the world's going to happen on championship wrestling. Rick Rude, with his vendetta against Lawler, started hollering about Lawler hurting things and all, and referring to Angel as a thing, a possession of his, and then he takes a ball bat and heads for Lawler's car outside in a parking lot. Let's take a look at what happened when that happened.
Oh, baby, but I mean, payback, baby. Payback, and that's what it's about. Come here, Russell. I want you to walk with me over here, Russell. Come here.
Come on, Jimmy. Now, what is all this stuff? We got a match coming up here. Hey, Rude.
Come with me, Russell.
What are you doing? Rude. Hey. What is he doing, Jimmy?
It's a gray car, baby. It's a gray car. Hey, come here, baby.
Rude, get back in here.
Here, come here. Come out right there. I want the whole world to see this. All right, Jimmy, they gonna do it. That's the one, baby, right there, Rude. It's the gray one, baby.
That is so ridiculous, Jimmy. Boy, that's the kind of mentality that you spawn in that doggone thing. He is out there knocking the windshield out of Lawler's car. Oh, boy, that is brilliant. Just brilliant. He tore the windshield right out of Jerry Lawler's car. Well, he's the one that's going to have to pay for it. Uh-oh, here comes Lawler. Get him, Jerry. Lawler going after him. Hey, out there, who was that? Oh, Bundy. Out there waiting on a car, and there's Hart. Oh, that is sick. Goes out there with a ball bat and knocks the windshield out, beat on Lawler's car. Well, I tell you, there is absolutely no way to anticipate how low Hart and that first family can get. Lawler came running after him. And they had Bundy sitting out in the car. There's Jerry looking over what's been done. Jerry, who had wrestled earlier on Championship Wrestling in the event that you didn't see it. They got him back out of the shower. Well, okay. Mama said there'd be days like this. Lee took a ball bat and absolutely just shattered Lawler's windshield, beat on the car, walked all over it. Hey, I'm talking like $3,000 worth of damage in there with what happened to the top and where he kicked around and all that stuff on that. And that was Rick Rude, and of course Jimmy Hart's egging and all. It was Bundy, and that was true in the car out there. We couldn't get a real good look when it was happening. Who drove the getaway car in there. We're going to take time out. We got more Championship Wrestling. We'll be back to it in just a moment. Okay, we may get back to that in just a moment. Boy, you know, I was looking at that Gilbert jumping Tommy Rich like that, and I feel like such a fool myself. I was just saying to Dave, I feel like such a fool falling.
One thing to say, you know, last week, you know, I went to Memphis and I wrestled Eddie Gilbert. And I didn't try to fight you, Eddie. I didn't try to fight you a bit. I tried to wrestle you and whip you. Well, that didn't work because look at me. So what I'm telling you, Monday night, it's crazy time. Tommy Rich is going to get crazy. You know, I ain't been the same since I come back from Atlanta. But I tell you what, Monday night, all these people's going to see a Tommy Rich that they ain't never seen before. Because Eddie Gilbert, I'm coming to fight you, Jay.
Well, that's what we were going to get into. Tommy back out after that embarrassing, and of course it hurt him physically. He's no more embarrassed than I am about falling for that garbage with Eddie Gilbert. Okay, that's history. Let's take a look at the future. Monday night, we're going to have the tickets on sale today up until 5 o'clock down at the Mid-South Coliseum. Chance for you to pick them up in advance. Also all day on Monday. You can get your tickets before bell time. Be down there and look at the happenings. And, brother, there's plenty of it. 8 o'clock is it. And we're going to be starting with the Animal going against Ron Sexton. Mark Regan, you'll be meeting Mark here in just a moment for the first time on Championship Wrestling. We'll be facing Mr. Ito. Then it'll be Popo-Mania. Randy Savage and Sirlani Popo going against the exciting team of the new generation that we'll be seeing here. And they're looking awfully good with Tojo Yamamoto in the corner. Johnny Wilhort and Mark Batten will be going against Popo-Mania. Southern Tag Team title match. Rock and Roll Express ended up with the Southern Tag Team titles by defeating Hickerson and the Spoiler. And they will be going against the Nightmares, who gave them plenty of problem right here on Championship Wrestling last week. And the Nightmares, in the feeling of the promotion, certainly deserve a Southern Tag title shot. They'll be getting it against the Rock and Roll Express. The Dutchman, Dutch Mantell, will be facing the Spoiler in a single match. Following that, another single fight. There ain't going to be any match to this one, Dave. Tommy Wildfire Rich, Eddie Gilbert, and any possibility of ever getting these guys together and getting the differences straightened out. Forget it now, brother. They're going to be in there hammer and tong, one-on-one at each other. A tag match after that with King Kong Bundy and the newest member of the first family of professional wrestling, Kurt Von Hess, will be going. They will be facing the team of Steve Kern and an irate, wily Jackie Fargo, the fabulous one. And the final match, Rick Rude, who was not only hurt, but he was embarrassed also by the King, Jerry Lawler, will be back in action, and Lawler and Rude will be facing it off on Main Event. We'll have more on that a little bit later on. I do, in fact, want to remind you that the tickets will be on sale up until 5 today. And all day on Monday, so you can get your tickets and be out on time. Wait a minute. Try to avoid calamity area here, Jerry, at Gilbert. He kind of caught us with our sympathies down, and he got a hold of Rich. Okay, we're not here to talk about that.
Well, what we are here to talk about for just a second is Rick Rude.
Yeah.
I've just, sat in the back and watched the film of him doing, I guess what he thought, I'm sure that he and Hart and Bundy all got their little heads together, and they thought that if they could, I guess they figured they're not going to be able to do anything to me, so they said, let's do something to something that he owns. Let's cost him some money. I'm sure they figure when they beat my car up like that, that it's going to cost me a lot of time, a lot of trouble, and a lot of money. But you know what? Rick Rude and Jimmy Hart are so stupid that they don't realize what great wrestling fans that we have right here in this area. And let me tell you something, Rude. You see, he not only, you're right, he broke out the windshield. He used the bat, the camera, I saw the camera kept having power problems there. They didn't see everything that he did, but after he broke the windshield out, Rude got up on the hood of the car, stomped around on, ground the glass into the hood, broke the steering wheel on the inside of the car, damaged the roof of the car with the bat. He did, in all total, what the estimate was, about $1,700 worth of damage to the car. Now, Rude, if that had cost me the $1,700, you're right, brother, I'd be hotter than I am now. But as I said, you underestimate the great wrestling fans that we have in this area, because I got a telephone call as soon as all this little foolishness took place, and it was from a man I never met in my life, a guy by the name of Gary Faulkner. Now, this guy owns Gary Faulkner's Body Shop, which I found out later on happens to be probably the tops in Memphis. And he said, King, I saw what happened. Bring your car to me. I took the car over there, Lance, and I want to tell you that right here today, it's sitting right outside again, and it looks like it just came off the showroom floor. So, Rick Rude, I want you to know, thank you very much, Mr. Gary Faulkner, and a little plug, if anybody ever needs a car done right, he's the man to take it to, because he did mine right, brother.
I hope they don't get theirs the way you got yours.
Well, I hope not either.
Like
so, Rude, I want you to know that all of that baseball bat and all of that foolishness and that little stunt you pulled was all in vain, brother, because it didn't do anything but this. It served one purpose. It served to make me really mad, brother, and make me mad enough to do some damage to you. Now, what I did to him last week, Lance, he came out here and he bragged about how he was going to wrestle me, take care of me, and then he was going to go back and wrestle Kern and Fargo. Well, for everybody's information that hadn't heard by now, Rick Rude did not go back to wrestle Kern and Fargo. Rick Rude was carried out of the ring.
Nightmare had a substitute for
That's right. Well, let me tell you something, Rude. I want you to know that what I'm fixing to say right now is a promise, brother. It's not a threat. It's not a statement. It is a promise. When I get through with you this Monday night, you're not going to be able to just be carried out of the ring by Hart and Bundy. They're going to have to call an ambulance, and they're going to have to take you to the hospital, Rude, because I am sick, and I am tired of jerks like you, and jerks like Hart, and jerks like Bundy. And I want you to know this, Lance. When I ran out to that parking lot, when I just about had my hands on Rude, he jumps in the car, and there it is, Hart and that big fat Bundy driving the getaway car. Well, I'm going to get each and every one of you. Mark it down in your book. You're all on my list. Rude, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to send you to the hospital Monday night. And then Hart, you and Bundy are next, and that's a promise.
And, brother, that's a guy that can deliver. Let me tell you that for a living fact. That's just one of the action bouts coming up there. Oh, it's going to be something Monday night. Looking forward to that. We'll take time out, and we're going to be back with it in just a moment. Been working. Okay, we're going to get in the ring and be taking a look at a new face, Mark Regan, in just a moment. We had some comments from ravishing Rick Rude, who didn't look so ravishing last Monday after Lawler had finished with him. And we thought you might be interested in hearing what Rick had to say. Let's take a listen.
Lawler, you know, I've run into a lot of low-life, dirty scumbags in my time. But none quite so low as you and those filthy pigs who sit up in the stands and cheer you on. Let me tell you something, punk. You could have went out and you could have got yourself a new car. I could have got myself a new valet, and we could have let bygones be bygones. But this is just a little bit too much, Lawler. I've worked my whole life to build this beautiful body just the way it is, just the way I want it. And to have some degenerate punk like you come and try to break my neck, purposely try to end not only my career, but maybe my life. That's just a little bit too much, Lawler. Now I got something to say to you, and you better listen, and you better listen real good. Lawler, you pulled the trigger 3 times. 3 times, punk. You pile drove me into the mat. And while I laid there helpless, unable to move, thousands of worthless peons who call themselves fans of yours cheered you on. Well, brother, you put me down, but you didn't put me out. And that's the biggest mistake of your life. It's going to take a little bit of time, Lawler, but I'm going to be stronger than ever. And I'm going to come back. And I've got a promise to make you, boy. And I've got a promise to make all you filthy hillbillies out there, if you can understand the English language. I've got a promise for you, too. Jerry Lawler, next time I get my hands on you, punk, it's going to be a trip to the hospital. And it's going to be a long stay, Lawler, so you better pack a lot of bags. And Mid-South fans, you better save those pennies that you scrape and wallow in the dirt for, and maybe you can take a little collection and buy some flowers for the king, for the ex-king, because, brother, I'm taking over, and I'm going to stay.
First time we've seen Mark coming in.
Interesting way of getting in the ring. 1 fall, 15-minute time limit match coming up for Mark here.
His opponent, Keith Roberson, standing up there making light of Regan. That break dance. Okay, jacket's coming off, and we're out. There it is, Dave.
Keith Roberson said he'd seen enough of that. The dancing he didn't appreciate, I guess, as Mark Regan came in. Regan's out of New York City at 225. Keith Roberson, whoa, is on the mat. He's out of Memphis at 238. And Regan with a drop kick. Didn't hit him. 2, 3. Well, he didn't hit him with full force of both feet, but he was able to get him with that 1 foot, and that put him down to the mat. Regan very quickly just landed on top of him and was able to hold him for the 3 count. And that is quite a debut, I must tell you, for Mark Regan. Keith Robertson's got to be wondering what happened, because all of a sudden he found himself there. And he was pinned, no doubt about it. It was over for him.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Keith, a young guy who has really been coming along very well. I think he learned one thing that really experience is the only thing he can teach you, not to let it down. I think he got caught unawares. Let's take a look at exactly how Regan got a hold of Keith Roberson. Roberson, a big guy, and boy, I'll tell you what, he has been causing some people some trouble in there. And as he shot in Mark Regan to the ropes, he came out. Regan leapfrogged him in there, turned around, and he is agile, no doubt. Look at that drop kick. Bang. He wailed him good.
That left foot's what got him and put him down.
And Regan went at it again. He had him stunned enough to get a 1, 2, 3, and a lot of times people don't realize that that is the name of the game. You get them right then and there, 1, 2, 3, and that's all that it takes. Mark Regan, the winner over Keith Robinson. A little upset surprise here, our first look at Mark. Keith Roberson got involved in a situation with Dutch Mantell. I was more stunned. I think Keith is feeling his oats a little bit now. I want to show you a little recap of what happened in that particular match. Reversal. And as he started to get Dutch with a foot, look at here, clothesline. Roberson down, 2, 3, he's at it. 5 minutes and 57 seconds. The winner, Dutch Mantell. Well, after Dutch had left the ring and was heading out with a 5:57 win, Roberson jumped him from behind, blasted him in the back, knocked him down to the concrete, slammed Dutch into the ring post, and now Dutch going back at it. The wrestlers for the next match already out here, and Roberson wishing he had never nailed. Oh, here comes Spoiler and Hickerson. Pounding Dutch. They're not involved in this match. As we said, they're out here for the next match. And they jump in. Referee Jerry Calhoun, who is refereeing the next bout. Out here with Paul Morton as the Spoiler paintbrushing Mantell. And Dutch caught in between the pair of them. Here comes the Rock and Roll Express. Oh, now they've got Rick in between the Spoiler and Hickerson. Uh-oh, hey, Dutch. Mantell jumps up into the ring, nails the Spoiler, puts Morton over top of him. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. First, I was stunned when Roberson jumped him after the whole match was over with. You know, Dutch got a pretty good reputation.
Sure does.
Yeah, I was a little surprised Keith was hot about losing the match. I wasn't as surprised, though, when Dutch got involved with the match with the Rock and Roll and Hickerson and Spoiler, because Dutch has a way of getting even.
He does.
We're going to take time out. We'll be back in just a moment. We have got a single match coming up with Dutch Mantell going against Pat Hutchinson. And we got that tag match coming up between the New Generation and the Nightmares. Looking forward to that. Here he comes, the Dutchman. How you doing,
that
Dutch?
guy a while ago, Mark Regan, he was breakdancing, right? I can dance, too, but I'm going to say one thing. Spoiler, me and you got a tango Monday night, baby, but I'm going to be leading. Now, you know, these guys, I think the people saw the film. They was at the ringside, and big Keith Roberson wanted to make a big name for himself. Now, they didn't have to jump on me, but they took it upon themselves to put their nose in my business, and I don't appreciate it one bit, Spoiler and Hickerson. And I told Eddie Marlin right then, I got 2 guys in my sights. I got the Spoiler, and I got Hickerson, and I want to zero in on them because I want to run them out of here. And I told Eddie Marlin I want to wrestle them. Both of them, but I can't wrestle 2 men at one time. I'm not a big, strong, 400-pound guy, and I can't wrestle 2 guys, but I can wrestle one, and I'm going to wrestle that Spoiler, the man I call the sock face. Now, why does a man wear a mask? I've often wondered that, Lance. Why does a man put a mask on? Now, a couple of reasons. He could be running from the law. He's got a police record. He could be running from the IRS. Or more probably, in the Spoiler's case, he's running from a couple of ex-wives. He don't want nobody to find out where he is. But, Spoiler, I'm going to tell you one thing. Monday night, baby, it's going to be me and you in that ring, and I'm going to expose your face, because I think I know who you are already. I'm going to expose your face to all these fans in Memphis here. And then, Hickerson, you just stand back, baby, and wait your turn, because I'm coming after you next. Okay, let's go, Jack.
Got to tell you one thing, Fred. When he gets it on, he does a lot of doing what he says he's going to do, Dave. All righty, we're ready to go. The next bout, a single match. It'll have Pat Hutchinson and Dutch Mantell going at it. One fall, 15 minutes. And we were, okay, bell time. Here we go. We're getting everybody's attention, and that's all Dutch needed, brother. He said, you already got my attention. Let's wrestle. He started out. Dave, no introduction. They didn't have
no time, huh?
Yeah, I dinged the bell just to get everybody's attention. We were ready to go after the break, and Dutch is called.
We got the stopwatch running on him. I don't think Dutch Mantell needs much introduction anyway. Pat Hutchinson, for that matter. Hutchinson out of Memphis. Dutch out of Oil Trough, Texas.
Dutch been really cranking up on that arm on Pat Hutchinson. Whoa, Pat took a way at it. He took a shot at the eyes, and there comes in with a fourth. Pat, of course, we've noticed this in the last year. Boy, he's gotten a lot more aggressive. Whoa.
He has. He has tried to take control of matches more, and of course, that's what you have to do to win wrestling matches. He has also tried to take control of things like the chokehold that he was using right there.
Yes, sir.
A little disappointed in that, but Hutchinson down to the mat. Dutch was going to try to pick him up and slam it with me. Suplexes him right here. Boy, that's just as good. Dutch stayed with him, though, and that's the mark of a veteran wrestler. Boy, he pounded him with the upper arm. Count as 2 and 3, and that is it. Wow. Dutch Mantell, the veteran, a minute 3 seconds.
Minute 3 seconds doesn't surprise me a bit because the Dutchman, as we indicated, he was sitting on dead ready before that bell ever started. And you can see, as Dave pointed out, with that suplex that Dutch put on him, when we look back at the finish of that particular match, it was a dandy. Look at it. He snapped him right over and got that good snap roll on him. Bang, down hard with the elbow. Oh, and that was good enough for a 1, 2, 3. Pat Hutchinson up and out of the ring. Hey, listen, that was a minute 3. We've still got this expiration of time match, so let's just go ahead and bring on our next match here. We'll have, how do they say this in the radio? 2 in a row. This is what we got right here. Oh, that lets everybody know the new generation is on their way. There they are.
It's unusual to have all the people screaming over me in the nightmares.
Jimmy, if you don't mind, we'll do the introduction.
Expiration of time match coming up here. This one goes to the expiration. Total weight of 422 pounds. Over on the left of the screen with Jimmy Hart, their manager from parts unknown, the Nightmares, and going against them at a total weight of 442 pounds. From Charleston, West Virginia, and Lexington, Kentucky, Mark Batten and Johnny Wilhoit, the new generation. This match to the expiration of time. Tojo Yamamoto in the new generation's corners, and the referee is Jerry Calhoun. This is one of those that might go 1 fall, might go 3 or 4, depending on the time. Johnny Wilhoit looks like he'll be starting for the new generation, and for the Nightmares, it will be Nightmare number 1. Referee is just about ready for us to sound the bell, I think. Last-minute instruction.
Okay, bell time. Johnny Wilhoit ready. Davis.
Here we go. Wilhoit out of Lexington, Kentucky. Boy, I tell you, the new generation have really made some noise around here, especially since they signed on with Tojo Yamamoto. They made a call to Tojo, said, hey, teach us to be champions, and he has done that.
We mentioned this, I think, earlier, Dave, but a very significant match here in that the Nightmares got themselves an upset with the Rock and Roll Express, and the new generation did the same thing on Hickerson and Spoilers, so 2 major upset teams. And, boy, I'll tell you what, we're looking for a dandy here. This is expiration of time, and we've got some time.
And we've got some action as Johnny Wilhoit really putting it on at left arm of the Nightmare. He makes the tag, and here comes Mark Batten. Oh, Jimmy Hart's upset. What happened?
All right, what happened? You saw it. I did too. Look, he held the man when he made the tag, right? Our man didn't have a chance to get back in the ring because he tagged him and he held him.
Well, he was the legal man in the ring. He made the tag right there in his corner, then he turned loose. Jimmy Hart's version of the rules. Mark Batten with a takedown on the Nightmare. And there's the tag. All right, now.
He held him again. Did he not hold him?
Makes the exchange. He turns loose, goes back to the corner. Nothing wrong with that.
I can't believe you're saying that, man. That's a call for a break. When the tag's made, you break the hold. Am I right or wrong?
You make the break when the exchange is made. Let's see how it works on this other corner over here. Once they make tag, all right? That's Johnny Wilhoit. Wait.
Listen, we go by all the rules. My men are Christian athletes. Okay, he just threw a punch at him right there. Did you see that?
The Nightmare was halfway down the apron where he should not have been.
He's outside the ring over here, Dave.
Whole side, I see.
Whole side's ours, that whole side's theirs.
Okay, remember that's Jimmy explaining the rules to you, fans.
Beautiful.
Lower leg.
Beautiful.
Johnny Wilhoit. Right on the mat. All right, Nightmare's on. He's on the top rope. It worked out okay for the new generation, and wow, what a drop kick. Wilhoit way up in the air. Now the Nightmare goes for the tag. And Jimmy decides to go back for a little conference with the Nightmares. And boy, I think they need it because the new generation, Johnny Wilhoit and Mark Batten so far, have had control of this match. That's Nightmare number 2 in there now against Mark Batten. We're 2.5 minutes into the first fall.
Will you please tell them I am not a wimp, and you know I'm not a wimp, so tell them to shut up. It's giving me a migraine headache, man.
I'm getting a migraine myself, Jimmy, but not from this. The upper arm, the Nightmare.
That's legal forearm. Open hand.
Fist. Mark Batten reverses the Nightmare into the turnbuckles and rolls him down to the mat. Goes right after him with a head scissors. The flying head scissors, he flipped him, and the Nightmare. Again, the victim of the flying head scissors, Mark Batten makes the tag. He broke the hold immediately as Johnny Wilhoit came in to take over.
What TV program are you watching, man? Evidently, you're not seeing what I'm seeing up here.
I'm not seeing it from your point of view, I guarantee you that. Johnny Wilhoit with a clean arm bar on the Nightmare, number 2. Nightmare back to the corner, makes the tag. Wilhoit, as the other one steps in, broke the hold on the other. Well, that's right by the book. That's the way tag teams work. Wilhoit reverses the Nightmare and drops him to the mat. Ooh, look out. Nightmare with a move. He'd need Wilhoit in the midsection as Wilhoit was coming in fast. Johnny Wilhoit of the new generation. Tag made on Mark Batten. There, again, a nice clean exchange. Mark Batten backed into the turnbuckles by the Nightmare. Nightmare reversed again, going into the turnbuckles, and Mark Batten, good balance by this new generation team. Boy, they're very alert. The Nightmares are experts at reversing things like that, but the new generation has stayed with them time and time again in this match. First fall action, 4 minutes, 40 seconds gone. We expected a good one, and we have had it so far.
Hey, man, the Nightmares are the greatest team in the history of professional wrestling today. You know it, I know it, and the people know it, man.
Mark Batten with the left arm bar on Nightmare number 2. Batten takes him down, bars the arm again, and now the Nightmare is screaming.
All right, there you go, right there. He pulled the mask. He pulled the mask right there. Look at that, right there. I'm supposed to put a stop to this.
All right, Jimmy, you can complain all you want to. Batten, oh, look out. Hart distracted the referee, and from outside, Nightmare number 2 knees Mark Batten in the back.
Jojo, what's he done? Had a heart attack over there, man? You better get somebody from the hospital to pick him up, man.
The Nightmare firing Batten into the rope. After Batten was nailed from outside by the other Nightmare, Jimmy Hart, using those Hart in the first family tactics. Look out, Batten being double teamed. Now where's Jimmy to talk about double teaming now that it's the Nightmares who are, in fact, breaking the rules on it. Batten being choked on the rope. Now the other Nightmare helping out. They're using that middle rope to choke him. Oh, Hart. Sojo came around to maybe keep Hart out of it. The Nightmares, meanwhile, with a double team, one of them came off the top rope there.
I brought some shoe polish today. I might just paint Sojo's head and those guys' beards on and everything, baby. Woo, I feel good.
Mark Batten. The referee called for a break on the hold. He got a quick one, but the Nightmare right back to it. I don't know what happened. Might have been hair pulling. We couldn't see from our angle. You had a better view of it than we did on from the camera. There's the tag made by the Nightmares. Double team by the Nightmares. Jimmy Hart jumping up and down over there, cheering them on. Count is at 1, 2, but Batten able to break out of it at the 2 count. They're still going. 7 minutes, 40 seconds gone. First ball action. Well, the other Nightmare jumps in. No tag. Referee sends him back to the corner. Nightmare trying to force Mark Batten back into their corner. Keep him away from the tag on Johnny Wilhoit. Mark's been in there a long time. Batten close to the tag, but just not quite close enough. Nightmares keep him in there. Nightmare number 2 in the ring. Right fist. Batten whipped into the rope. Goes them down. The Nightmare's shoulders on the mat. The other one has the referee distracted. Now he sees the count as 1. But by the time he starts to count, the Nightmares were able to team up and break it at the 1 count. Nightmares making the tag now. 8 minutes, 45 seconds gone. Mark Batten hammered with a right fist. And a big clothesline by the Nightmare. Batten in serious trouble here. Count is 1, 2. He breaks out at the 2 count. Thought they might have had it wrapped up.
He's the only referee in the building. Why does he have to referee all these matches for? He hates me.
I suppose you would rather referee, Jimmy. Oh, yeah, you could do a lot of things.
Nightmares in there against Mark Batten. Batten has been in at least 3 minutes, maybe even longer than that, as we're 9.5 minutes in. The Nightmare finds himself with a knee problem, and Batten gets the tag. Johnny Wilhoit in there now. Great drop kick, and another one by Wilhoit. Lands on his feet. Johnny Wilhoit with a drop kick, putting down both of the Nightmares. From the middle rope, presses out with the drop kick to cover. Hart jumps in there. That's going to be disqualification right there. Mojo in. We've got 6 of them in the ring. Look out. Hart running around the ring, hammering first one, then the other, the new generation, and Sojo just about had him. He bails out of there. Now back up on the apron, working on Batten. Sojo trying to get to him. Free for all here as the bell is sounded. Hart got his team disqualified. Boy, it looked like...
Interference!
Hey, come on.
Don't interfere in the match. You should be found $1,000.
Yeah, you're the one that jumped in the ring. Oh, he drove you to it. Great. That makes a lot of heart sense, I can tell you that. Disqualification goes against Jimmy Hart.
Absolutely. Wilhoit had the Nightmare in a position it looked like he probably could have gotten a 3 count. Hart thought so too, jumped in and got his team disqualified. 9:58, the time on the fall.
Gotta tell you, some kind of rugged match, too. A dandy. Nightmares, new generation. We'll check our clock is what I was going to say, and we'll be back in a minute. Once again, Jimmy Hart messes up a doggone good bout in there. It's not that I didn't want to see the new generation win and all. I'd just like to see a good action in the Nightmares' new generation. Good action any time. Disqualification caught a hold of the Nightmares, though. It's Jimmy Hart once again, and he, of course, would have a different version of it. It's cost a team a disqualification and a match. New generation being the one. How about a full recap, David?
Boy, we had quite a day today with King Kong Bundy and Kurt Von Hess. Von Hess, the newest member of the first family. Hart brought him in from Munich, Germany, and Bundy and Von Hess defeated Randy Johnson and Jim Jamieson quite handily in the match today. Then, the award ceremony, trophy presentation by Wrestling Fans International to the Tag Team of the Year, Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert. Now, of course, as wrestling fans in this area know, they're not wrestling together as a tag team now. And, boy, with all the things that happened, I don't know if they'll ever be wrestling as a tag team ever again, but I suspect they'll be facing each other in the ring somewhere down the way. Dutch Mantell defeated Pat Hutchinson in a single match. Mark Regan, an impressive debut as he defeated Keith Roberson in less than a minute in his match. Then it was the New Generation and the Nightmares, the two teams that we had talked about, both with impressive upset victories over other major tag teams, in here going against each other. New Generation pretty well in control for about 4 or 5 minutes of the match. Then the Nightmares kind of took control. But in the end, it was the New Generation winning as Jimmy Hart jumped into the ring and got his team disqualified. So New Generation comes away with a victory in the expiration of time.
Oh, yeah. By golly, we're going to be keeping our eye on this team of Bundy and Kurt Von Hess. Impressive team size-wise, no question about that. And they may be bear watching. Dave, we have got to go. See you next